The new housemaid was accused of stealing a valuable gold necklace. When they looked at the security cameras, they were shocked by the surprising revelation. Marina was sitting in the small kitchen of her modest home, staring at the cup of coffee cooling in her hands. The morning sun illuminated the room, but the light couldn't dispel the shadow of worry on her face. At 32, Marina had always been a determined woman, but the financial difficulties of recent months had worn down her spirit. Her husband, Gabriel, had suffered an accident that left him unable to work. His injured shoulder prevented any sudden movements, and he, once the family's provider, now spent his days trying to recover. Jaime, the couple's 5-year-old son, ran around the yard with the energy of a child, oblivious to his parents' worries. Marina sighed deeply. She needed to find a solution. She stood up, determined, and decided she would look for a job as a domestic worker, something she hadn't done in years since Jaime was born. She picked up the phone and dialed Elsa's number, her former boss and longtime friend. Elsa answered with the same cordiality as always. After a few minutes of conversation, Marina explained her situation. Elsa, always helpful, regretted that she couldn't hire her back because she had already hired a new maid. However, Elsa suggested that Marina look for Mrs. Carmen Rodriguez, a wealthy heiress who needed help in her large mansion. "I'll introduce you to her, Marina. Carmen is a good person, and I'm sure she'll like you," Elsa said, trying to reassure her. The next day, Marina and Elsa arrived at the imposing Rodriguez mansion. The wrought iron gate slowly opened, revealing a lush garden leading to the main house. Marina, with trembling hands, tried to contain her anxiety. Elsa walked confidently beside her, offering silent support. They were greeted by a maid who led them to the living room. Carmen Rodriguez, an elegant woman with a kindly look, was sitting in an armchair with a welcoming smile. Elsa made the introductions, and Marina, a bit nervous, shared a bit of her story, including her recent struggles. Carmen listened attentively, her expression changing from curious to moved. "Just call me Carmen," she said with a smile. "I like you, Marina. You can start working here tomorrow." Marina could hardly believe it. Her eyes filled with tears of gratitude. "Thank you, Mrs. Carmen. Carmen. I promise not to disappoint you." Back at her home, Marina shared the news with Gabriel, who smiled with relief. "I knew you could do it, Marina. You've always been amazing." That night, Marina went to bed with a somewhat lighter heart. The weight of uncertainty was still there, but now there was a ray of hope illuminating the path ahead. She knew the challenges were just beginning, but she was ready to face them. The next day, she would start her work at the Rodriguez mansion, a path full of challenges, but also of unexpected possibilities, and perhaps twists that would change her life forever. Marina woke up early that morning, her heart pounding with a mix of anxiety and excitement. She dressed carefully, choosing a simple and practical outfit suitable for work, and had a quick breakfast with Gabriel and Jaime. She said goodbye to her family, kissed Jaime on the forehead, and hugged Gabriel, who wished her luck with a confident smile. Upon arriving at the Rodriguez mansion, Marina was greeted by Carmen with a warm "good morning." Carmen, always elegant and friendly, led her through the spacious corridors of the house, introducing her to every detail of the mansion. The grandeur of the place was undeniable, with its luxurious tapestries, antique furniture, and impeccable decor. In the grand main hall, Carmen introduced Marina to Celia and Irene, the other maids of the house. Celia, a middle-aged woman with a maternal smile, and Irene, young and energetic, welcomed Marina warmly. "We'll help you get used to the routine here," Celia said, motioning for Marina to follow her. The first days were intense. Celia and Irene taught Marina every detail of the daily tasks: the meticulous cleaning of the antique furniture, the special care with the valuable objects, and the maintenance of the various rooms in the house. The routine was exhausting, but Marina dedicated herself wholeheartedly, determined to prove her worth. During a lunch break, Marina and her new colleagues sat in the servants' kitchen. Celia shared funny stories from the years she worked at the mansion, and Irene talked about her ambitions and dreams. Gradually, Marina began to feel part of the team. There was a sincere camaraderie among them, something Marina didn't expect to find so soon. On the third day of work, Carmen decided to introduce Marina to her sons, Santiago and Mauro. Both were middle-aged, single men with quite distinct personalities. Santiago, the elder, had a serious and reserved demeanor. Mauro, on the other hand, was more expansive and talkative. "These are my sons, Marina," Carmen said with pride in her voice. Santiago greeted Marina with a nod, while Mauro shook her hand with a smile. "Welcome, Marina. I hope you enjoy working here," Mauro said warmly. Marina's adaptation continued daily. Her dedication and efficiency soon caught Carmen's attention, who began to trust her abilities more and more. Marina not only performed her tasks excellently, but also brought positive energy to the mansion. One morning, while cleaning the library, Carmen entered and observed Marina for a few moments. "You have been doing a wonderful job, Marina," she said, breaking the silence. "I knew I made the right choice in hiring you." Marina smiled, feeling genuinely appreciated. "Thank you, Carmen. I'm very happy to be here and be part of this house." As time passed, Carmen's trust in Marina only grew. Marina was now responsible for cleaning the most important rooms, including Carmen's room. Celia and Irene supported and helped her whenever necessary, forming a true team. Thus Marina was establishing herself at the Rodriguez mansion, building new friendships and showing her worth every day. The journey was still at the beginning, but Marina already felt that, despite the challenges, she was on the right path to provide a better future for her family. The days at the Rodriguez mansion continued their routine, and Marina already felt more at ease in her new job. Her dedication and kindness had won over everyone, especially Carmen, who saw in Marina a reliable and affectionate person. One day, after an intense morning of work, Carmen called Marina for a conversation in the living room. "Marina, I've been thinking about how dedicated you are and about your family. I would really like to meet your son, Jaime. How about bringing him to spend a day here at the mansion? I believe he will have fun and bring some cheerful energy to this house." Marina was touched by the invitation. "Thank you, Carmen. Jaime will be very happy to come. He loves new places, and I'm sure he will be enchanted by the mansion." On the agreed day, Marina arrived at the mansion with Jaime, who held her hand enthusiastically. The boy's eyes widened at the sight of the vast garden and the grandeur of the house. Carmen awaited them at the entrance with a warm smile. "Welcome, Jaime. I hope you have a lot of fun today." Jaime, shy at first, soon loosened up with Carmen's kindness. He ran through the garden, played with the mansion's dogs, and explored every allowed corner. Watching him, Carmen felt a nostalgic warmth in her heart. Jaime's innocent joy reminded her of the happy days of her own family, when her sons, Santiago and Mauro, were young and the late Emilio was still alive. Marina watched everything with a smile. Seeing Jaime so happy made her feel fulfilled. During lunch, Carmen invited Marina and Jaime to join the main table. Santiago and Mauro were also present, but the conversation was dominated by Carmen, who was enchanted by Jaime's stories and jokes. Santiago remained silent, merely observing, while Mauro made occasional comments, trying to appear interested. After lunch, Carmen took Jaime to see the library, one of Mrs. Rodriguez's favorite places. "This place is magical," Carmen said, showing the old books and telling fascinating stories about each one. Jaime was amazed, and Marina felt deep gratitude to Carmen for providing that special moment for her son. While Jaime explored the library with Carmen, Marina had a moment alone with Celia and Irene in the kitchen. They talked about the day's tasks, and Marina took the opportunity to learn more about the routine and work details. Celia, with her maternal demeanor, always had an encouraging word, while Irene shared her own experiences and dreams. When the day ended, Jaime was exhausted but happy. Carmen said goodbye to him with a warm hug and promised he could come back anytime he wanted. "You brought joy to this house, Jaime. Thank you for coming," Carmen said with a smile. On the way back home, Marina reflected on the day. She was grateful for Carmen's kindness and happy to see Jaime so content. From that day on, Marina continued to perform her tasks with the same dedication, feeling increasingly integrated into life at the Rodriguez mansion. She knew that, despite the challenges, she was on the right path to provide a better future for her family. The days at the Rodriguez mansion were becoming more familiar to Marina. Her work routine was well established, and her relationship with Carmen grew closer each day. Mutual trust and respect were growing, and Marina felt grateful for the opportunity to work in an environment where her effort was appreciated. One morning, while cleaning Carmen's room, Marina found a beautiful velvet box in one of the wardrobe drawers. Curious, she carefully opened the box and came across a dazzling gold necklace. The precious stones adorning the necklace sparkled intensely in the sunlight streaming through the window. At that moment, Carmen entered the room and saw Marina holding the box. "Ah, you found my special necklace," Carmen said with a nostalgic smile. Marina, a little embarrassed, quickly closed the box. "Sorry, Carmen. I didn't mean to be intrusive." Carmen approached and gently took the box from Marina's hands. "Don't worry, Marina. This necklace is very special to me. It was the first gift Emilio, my late husband, gave me. It has immense sentimental value." Marina looked at Carmen with sympathy. "It must be a very precious memory." Carmen nodded, her gaze distant. "Yes, it is. Emilio gave me this necklace on our first wedding anniversary. Every time I see it, I remember the happy moments we shared. He was a wonderful man." Feeling the depth of Carmen's emotion, Marina understood how important the necklace was. "I'll be very careful when cleaning this room, Carmen. I promise." Carmen smiled and put the box back in the drawer. "I trust you, Marina. You have proven to be a reliable and dedicated person. That's why I want you to become the main person responsible for cleaning my room. I know you will take care of everything with the utmost care." Marina felt honored by the trust placed in her. "Thank you, Carmen. I'll do my best not to disappoint you." From that day on, Marina became exclusively responsible for cleaning Carmen's room. Every corner was carefully arranged, and she treated Carmen's personal belongings with extra care, aware of the sentimental value many of them held. The closeness to Carmen also increased. The two often talked about their lives, sharing stories and experiences. Carmen shared more about her life with Emilio and the happy moments they had together, while Marina spoke about her hopes for Jaime's future and Gabriel's recovery. One afternoon, while organizing Carmen's dressing table, Marina found an old photo of the couple. Carmen, who was sitting on the bed observing, smiled as she saw Marina holding the photo. "That was taken at our first ball together. Emilio was an excellent dancer." Marina smiled, returning the photo to its place. "You look so happy." "We were," said Carmen with a soft sigh. "And in a way, we still are. Memories are a gift that no one can take from us." These conversations deepened the connection between the two women, strengthening their trust and friendship. Marina felt more than just an employee. She felt part of something bigger, a friend who Carmen, despite her complexities, welcomed with warmth. And so Marina continued her journey at the Rodriguez mansion, now with even greater responsibility and a deeper bond with Carmen. Each day, she became an indispensable figure in the house. 3 months had passed since Marina started working at the Rodriguez mansion. She dedicated herself to the work with care, especially in cleaning Carmen's room, where she treated every object with the utmost care. Her relationship with Carmen had strengthened, and Marina felt more and more part of that big family. One morning, upon arriving at the mansion, Marina noticed a tense atmosphere. Carmen, with a pale face and eyes filled with worry, was standing at the bedroom door. "Marina, I need to talk to you," Carmen said, her voice trembling with anger and anxiety. Marina felt a chill down her spine. "What happened, Carmen?" "The necklace, the gold necklace that Emilio gave me. It's gone!" Carmen exclaimed, the frustration evident in her tone. "I went to get the necklace to wear today on our wedding anniversary. The box was in place, but when I opened it, the necklace was no longer there." Marina was shocked. "But I saw it the last time I cleaned the room, Carmen. I'm sure it was here. I would never touch it without your permission." Carmen looked at her with suspicion. "You're the only one who has been cleaning my room in recent months, Marina. How can you explain this?" Before Marina could respond, Celia and Irene arrived at the room, drawn by the commotion. "What's going on?" Celia asked, concerned. "Carmen's gold necklace is missing," Marina responded, still in shock. Celia and Irene exchanged incredulous looks. "That's impossible," Irene said. "Marina is the most trustworthy person we know." Carmen shook her head. "I can't rely on just words. Fortunately, I have hidden cameras in every room of this house." Celia and Irene were surprised. "Cameras?" Celia repeated. "We've worked here for years and never knew that." "We need to find out the truth," Carmen insisted. "I'll call a technician to review the footage immediately." Marina felt tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm innocent, Carmen. I would never do that." A security technician arrived at the mansion and began reviewing the recordings. After a while, he turned to Carmen and the others with a serious expression. "Since we don't know the exact day the necklace went missing, we'll need to review the footage carefully. I have access to all the recordings and will take them to the security company for a more detailed analysis. This may take a few days." Carmen, still furious, looked at Marina. "Until this is resolved, I can't take any chances. Marina, you're fired." Marina, heartbroken, tried to argue. "Please, Carmen, I didn't do this. There must be some mistake." Carmen, unwavering, nodded. "I can't take any risks. I want you to leave now and not return until the case is solved." Devastated, Marina gathered her things and left the mansion, feeling betrayed and humiliated. Upon arriving home, she fell into Gabriel's arms, sobbing. "They think I stole the necklace, Gabriel. I would never do that." Gabriel held her tightly, his voice firm and full of conviction. "I believe in you, Marina. I know you're innocent. We'll get through this together." The following days were bleak for Marina. Without a job, and with her reputation tarnished, she felt lost. But the unwavering support of Gabriel and Jaime's love kept her strong. They knew the truth would come out, and Marina would do everything to prove her innocence. Meanwhile, at the Rodriguez mansion, the tension remained. Carmen, though convinced of Marina's guilt, felt a pang of doubt and guilt. Celia and Irene, who had always trusted Marina, were shaken by the situation. The mansion, which once was a place of harmony, was now enveloped in a cloud of suspicion and distrust. The days dragged on in an agonizing wait for Marina and Gabriel. Since the disappearance of the gold necklace and Marina's subsequent dismissal, the tension in their home was palpable. Marina could barely sleep, her mind constantly returning to the moment Carmen accused her of theft. Meanwhile, at the Rodriguez mansion, a specialized security team had begun analyzing the footage from the hidden cameras. The technician who initially reviewed the footage assured Carmen that the work would be meticulous and take some time due to the large volume of data to be reviewed. Celia and Irene tried to maintain the routine in the mansion, but the atmosphere was heavy. Carmen spent her days between frustration and sadness, unable to believe that someone she trusted could have stolen something so precious. Santiago and Mauro, on the other hand, seemed more tense than ever. Santiago, always reserved, became even more introspective, avoiding long conversations and spending more time away from home. Mauro, on the other hand, tried to maintain a facade of normalcy, but his restlessness was evident to anyone who observed him closely. The brothers barely spoke to each other, and when they did, the conversations were brief and tense. Celia and Irene, though worried, didn't know what to think. They missed Marina, and her absence left a void that was hard to fill. At Marina's house, Gabriel did his best to cheer up his wife. "Marina, the truth will come out. I know you didn't do anything wrong. We need to have faith and wait." Marina, despite Gabriel's unwavering support, couldn't shake the feeling of despair. "I just want this to end, Gabriel. I want my life back. I can't stand being seen as a thief." Meanwhile, the security team was making slow progress in analyzing the footage. Every second of the recording was reviewed, every suspicious movement noted. The pressure on them was also great, knowing that an entire family was waiting for answers. The tension at the Rodriguez mansion grew each day. Carmen, though trying to remain calm, was becoming increasingly impatient. The absence of the necklace, with all its sentimental value, was a constant pain. She wanted justice but feared what the recordings might reveal. After days of meticulous analysis, the security team finally found something in the footage that promised to clarify the mystery of the missing necklace. The images revealed a devastating truth. Santiago and Mauro were responsible for the theft. In one of the recordings, the two brothers were seen entering Carmen's room furtively and taking the necklace from the velvet box. Carmen watched the footage in silence, shock and sadness washing over her face. Tears began to roll silently as the truth unfolded before her eyes. She had unjustly accused Marina, a person who had always been dedicated and loyal. The pain of knowing that her own sons had betrayed her trust was overwhelming. At the end of the footage, Carmen sat in her armchair, her hands trembling slightly. Celia and Irene, who had also watched the footage, were in shock. "Carmen, I'm so sorry," Celia said softly. "We never imagined this could happen." Carmen took a deep breath, trying to gather her strength. "I need to correct this mistake," she said, her voice firm despite the sadness. "Marina doesn't deserve what she's going through. She's innocent, and I need to seek justice." Celia nodded. "We're here to support you in whatever you need, Carmen." While Carmen processed the betrayal of her sons and the injustice done to Marina, she decided she would take the necessary steps to correct the error. Carmen wasted no time. Early the next morning, she called the police and explained the situation, asking them to accompany her to Marina's house. She knew the presence of the police would be necessary to ensure everything was handled fairly and orderly. Upon arriving at Marina's house, Carmen felt a pang in her heart. Gabriel opened the door, surprised to see Carmen and the police. "Carmen, what's going on?" he asked, worried. Marina appeared behind Gabriel, her expression tense. Carmen stepped forward, her eyes filled with tears. "Marina, I made a terrible mistake. I accused you unjustly. The footage showed that it was Santiago and Mauro who stole the necklace." Marina was paralyzed for a moment, absorbing Carmen's words. "Are you telling the truth?" she asked, her voice breaking. "Yes," Carmen replied, her voice trembling with emotion. "I'm so sorry, Marina. I should never have doubted you. Please forgive me and come back to the mansion with me so we can resolve this." Marina exchanged a look with Gabriel, who nodded encouragingly. She took a deep breath and, with the dignity that always characterized her, said, "I accept your apology, Carmen, and I'm willing to return to clarify everything." Accompanied by the police, Carmen and Marina returned to the Rodriguez mansion. Upon arrival, Santiago and Mauro were in the living room, surprised to see their mother accompanied by Marina and the police. "What's going on, Mother?" Mauro asked, trying to maintain his composure. Carmen took a deep breath, trying to contain her anger and sadness. "I saw the footage. I know you stole my necklace. How could you do this to me? To Marina?" Santiago and Mauro exchanged nervous glances. "Mother, we were desperate," Santiago began, his voice faltering. "Desperate?" Carmen repeated, incredulous. "You've never worked a day in your lives. You've always lived off me, and this is the thanks I get." Mauro tried to intervene. "Mother, we're sorry. We made a mistake. We didn't know what to do." Carmen looked at them firmly, the pain evident on her face. "Then why did you steal? Where is the necklace?" Santiago took a deep breath, his hands trembling. "We pawned the necklace to pay off gambling debts, Mother. We were deep in debt and saw no other way out." Carmen closed her eyes, feeling the depth of the betrayal. "You will answer for your actions. You betrayed my trust and almost destroyed the life of an innocent person." The police approached Santiago and Mauro, informing them of the legal consequences of their actions. The brothers, with no way out, confessed to the crime and revealed the location where the necklace was pawned. Exhausted and desolate, Carmen turned to Marina. "Marina, once again, I apologize for everything that happened. I will recover the necklace and ensure you are compensated for all you went through. Please come back to work at the mansion. We need you." Marina, with a heavy heart but feeling the sincerity in Carmen's request, nodded. "I will come back, Carmen. For me, for my family, and to help restore harmony in this house." While the police stayed with Santiago and Mauro at the large mansion to prevent them from fleeing, Carmen and Marina headed to the pawn shop indicated by Santiago. The shop was in a distant neighborhood, and the journey was silent, marked by tension and reflection. Carmen was filled with remorse, and Marina, still processing the recent events, remained quiet, focused on retrieving the necklace. Upon arriving at the pawn shop, they were greeted by a middle-aged man with a curious look. Carmen explained the situation, showing the necessary documents to prove ownership of the necklace. The man nodded, recognizing the seriousness of the case. "One moment, please," he said, disappearing into a back room. A few minutes later, he returned with a small box that looked nothing like the original. Carmen opened the box, and there was the gold necklace shining under the shop's light. She let out a sigh of relief, tears streaming down her face. "Here it is, Marina. Finally, it's back." Marina smiled, feeling a weight lifted from her shoulders. "I'm glad for you, Carmen. That necklace means a lot." Carmen nodded, closing the box carefully. "It does. But what really matters now is correcting the mistakes I've made." Back at the mansion, Carmen and Marina found Santiago and Mauro being escorted by the police. The brothers had their heads down, shame and fear evident on their faces. Carmen approached them, her gaze firm and full of pain. "You will answer for your crimes," she said, her voice controlled. "I've always been here for you, but what you did is unforgivable. You betrayed my trust and nearly destroyed an innocent person's life." Santiago and Mauro had no words, only accepting the consequences of their actions as they were taken to the police station. The weight of justice finally fell upon them. Carmen turned to Marina, holding the necklace firmly. "Marina, I can't express how sorry I am for everything that happened. You were unjustly accused and suffered because of me. I want to compensate you and your family in every way possible." Marina, emotional, shook her head. "Carmen, your sincerity and effort to correct the mistake already mean a lot. I just want to return to work and move forward." "You have my word," Carmen said with a sad smile. "Additionally, I will provide medical treatment for Gabriel and ensure Jaime gets a good education. You deserve that, and much more." Marina felt a wave of gratitude and relief. "Thank you, Carmen. That means a lot to us." While Santiago and Mauro faced the legal consequences of their actions, Carmen and Marina began to rebuild trust and harmony in the mansion. Marina returned to work, more determined than ever, and Carmen worked tirelessly to repair the damage done. The following days were filled with intense activity and reorganization at the Rodriguez mansion. With Santiago and Mauro facing the legal consequences of their actions, the atmosphere in the house began to change. The tension and distrust were being replaced by a new hope and a sense of renewal. Carmen was determined to correct her mistakes and do everything possible to compensate Marina and her family. On the first day after Marina's return to the mansion, Carmen called Gabriel for a meeting. "Gabriel, I know how much you suffered because of this misunderstanding. I want to help you regain your health and your ability to work." Gabriel, surprised and moved, thanked her. "Thank you, Carmen. That means a lot to us." Carmen made all the arrangements for Gabriel to receive the best medical treatment available. The physical therapy sessions and specialized care began to show results quickly. Gabriel, with renewed determination, dedicated himself to the treatment, eager to return to being the provider for his family. Meanwhile, Carmen also committed to ensuring a promising future for Jaime. "Marina, I want to pay for Jaime's education. He's a bright boy and deserves all the opportunities life can offer." Marina, deeply touched, thanked her with tears in her eyes. "Carmen, I don't know how to thank you. You're changing our lives." "It's the least I can do," Carmen replied sincerely. "You are part of my family now, and I will always do everything I can to support you." Marina returned to work at the mansion with renewed energy. Her relationship with Carmen was stronger than ever, based on mutual trust and gratitude. Celia and Irene were also relieved and happy with Marina's return, and the harmony in the house began to be restored. Carmen watched Gabriel's progress with satisfaction. In a few weeks, he was already showing significant signs of recovery. One day, after a physical therapy session, Gabriel came home with a smile on his face. "Marina, the doctor said I'm ready to go back to work." Marina hugged him, moved. "That's wonderful, Gabriel. I'm so proud of you." With Gabriel returning to work and Jaime starting his studies at a quality school, the family's life began to improve significantly. Marina, now more confident and secure, performed her duties at the mansion excellently, earning even more admiration from Carmen. The large mansion, which once was a place of tension and suspicion, was now filled with hope and renewal. Carmen, despite the pains of the past, felt relieved to see that her decision to correct the mistakes was bringing positive results. As Marina tidied up the rooms and took care of the house's details, she reflected on how much her life had changed. From a situation of despair and unjust accusation, she and her family had found new hope and a new chance at happiness. With Santiago and Mauro's absence, the Rodriguez mansion began to transform into a place of peace and harmony. Without the constant tensions caused by the brothers, the house's environment became much lighter and more welcoming. Carmen, determined to rebuild life in the mansion, decided to take a step that would further change the home's dynamics. One morning, Carmen gathered Marina, Celia, and Irene in the living room. "I've been thinking a lot about everything that happened and how we can move forward positively. I want you three and your families to move here, to the mansion." Marina, Celia, and Irene looked at each other, surprised. "Carmen, that's very generous," Celia said, moved. "But are you sure?" "Absolutely," Carmen replied with a smile. "This house is too big for me alone. And after everything we've been through, I want us to be a united family. Jaime brought so much joy and renewal to the home when he was here. I think we can all benefit from being together." Marina felt a wave of gratitude. "Carmen, you don't know how much this means to us. Thank you." And so, in the following weeks, Marina, Gabriel, and Jaime moved to the mansion along with Celia and Irene. The presence of the families brought a new energy to the place. The large mansion, which once felt cold and empty, was now full of life and laughter. Jaime, with his contagious joy, ran through the halls, exploring every corner of the house. He became a constant source of joy for everyone, especially for Carmen, who saw in him a reminder of the happy times of her own family. Jaime's laughter echoed through the halls, bringing a warmth the house hadn't felt in a long time. Gabriel, now recovered and working again, also adapted well to the new life at the mansion. He helped with small repairs and maintenance, feeling useful and part of the community that had formed there. His gratitude to Carmen and the new opportunity in life was evident in every gesture. Celia and Irene, who had worked at the mansion for years, found a new sense of purpose and camaraderie. With Marina and her family living there, they felt even more integrated and valued. The three women became an unbeatable team, taking care of the house with efficiency and care. The routine in the mansion changed for the better. Meals were now moments of union, where everyone sat together to share stories and laughter. Carmen watched with satisfaction the atmosphere of support and camaraderie that had formed. She felt less lonely and more connected to those she now considered her family. The days passed with a new lightness. Marina, Celia, and Irene worked together, keeping the mansion impeccable, while Jaime filled the house with laughter and life. Carmen, despite the past pains, felt hopeful and grateful for turning her house into a true home. Carmen, in her silent nights, often reflected on the events that had transformed her life. Sitting in her favorite armchair, with a cup of tea in her hands, she looked at the gold necklace, now guarded with even more care and affection. The necklace, which once represented only a precious memory of her late husband, now also symbolized the pain of her son's betrayal and the strength of the true loyalty she found in Marina and her family. One night, Carmen called Marina for a conversation in the garden under the starry sky. "Marina, have you ever thought about how life brings us lessons in unexpected ways?" Carmen asked, her voice soft but full of emotion. Marina nodded, sitting beside Carmen. "Yes, Carmen, these last few months have been a real roller coaster of emotions and learning, but in the end, I believe we are all stronger." Carmen smiled, her eyes welling up. "You have taught me so much, Marina. I've learned to value true loyalty and trust in people who really care. Before I lived surrounded by luxuries, but I felt alone. Now, with you here, my house is a true home." Marina felt a wave of emotion. "Carmen, you have also taught us a lot. Your generosity and effort to correct the mistakes have shown us the true meaning of redemption and kindness. To me, you are like a mother." Marina's words deeply touched Carmen. She held Marina's hand, feeling a deep and sincere connection. "Thank you, dear, and know that I see you as a daughter." As the two women talked, Jaime ran through the garden laughing and playing. Gabrielle and Celia were in the kitchen preparing a night snack, while Irene read a book in the living room. The mansion, once cold and austere, now exuded human warmth and joy. The new family dynamic brought a lightness that everyone appreciated. Meals together became special moments where stories were shared and laughter echoed through the halls. Celia and Irene felt part of something bigger, more meaningful. Gabriel, fully recovered, worked with commitment and joy, knowing he was contributing to his family's well-being. Carmen often watched Jaime and the other family members, feeling grateful for each moment. She knew that despite the challenges and past pains, she had found a new purpose and a new family to love and protect. The presence of the new families made the mansion flourish. The gardens were better cared for than ever, the flowers blooming in vibrant colors, and the house shone with a new light. The atmosphere of support and camaraderie created by Carmen, Marina, Celia, Irene, and Gabriel was reflected in every detail, transforming the Rodriguez mansion into a true oasis of happiness and unity. Santiago and Mauro faced the consequences of their actions. After confessing to stealing the necklace and pawning it to pay off gambling debts, they were judged and sentenced. The sentence brought a sense of justice and relief to Carmen, who, despite the pain, knew that the punishment was necessary for redemption. And so, amidst new beginnings and reflections, Carmen and her new family continued to tread a path of love, loyalty, and growth. The Rodriguez mansion, now a symbol of hope and renewal, flourished with the presence of the new families, promising a bright and harmonious future for all who lived there. I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you did, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more stories like this. Leave a like and comment below what you thought about the story.